In the year 3047, humanity had mastered space travel, traversing the stars like it was second nature. Entire civilizations had been discovered, many of them more advanced than Earth. Yet, despite all their progress, there remained a distant sector of the galaxy that no ship dared to explore. It was known simply as the Veil, a region so dense with cosmic storms and gravitational anomalies that no explorer had returned from it, until now. Commander Calyx Wren, captain of the starship Sovereign, was no stranger to danger. With a reputation as the most daring explorer in the Galactic Federation, she had been chosen for the first mission to the Veil. It wasn't just her experience that set her apart, but her relentless determination to uncover the unknown. As Sovereign neared the edge of the Veil, an eerie silence filled the ship. The crew, a mix of seasoned officers and wide-eyed scientists, braced themselves for what lay ahead. Suddenly, the ship's sensors came alive. An uncharted planet, shrouded in swirling, otherworldly mists, appeared on the monitors. "Prepare for descent," Calyx ordered, her voice steady despite the ominous energy that seemed to emanate from the planet below. The planet was unlike anything they had seen before. The skies were a mix of violet and crimson, with massive floating islands suspended in the air by unknown forces. As Sovereign touched down, the crew disembarked into a landscape that felt more like a dream than reality. But the strangeness of the environment paled in comparison to what happened next. As the crew explored the surface, they stumbled upon an ancient structure, one that seemed far too advanced to belong to any known civilization. And within its depths, they found an artifact, pulsing with energy, waiting for someone to unlock its secrets. The artifact wasn't just a relic. It was alive, in a sense. As soon as Calyx touched it, visions flooded her mind, images of a long-lost civilization, one that had harnessed the power of time itself. But with that power came a curse, one that had led to their downfall. Before she could pull away, the artifact latched onto her consciousness, creating a bond that could not be broken. From that moment on, she became its vessel, able to manipulate time in small ways but at great personal cost. As Calyx struggled to comprehend her new abilities, Sovereign was attacked. An alien race known as the Virans, who had been watching the Veil for centuries, descended upon them. The Virans were tall, skeletal beings with glowing, crystalline eyes, and they sought the artifact for themselves, knowing its true power. A battle ensued, one that the crew barely survived. As the dust settled, Calyx knew they had to leave the planet, but the artifact had other plans. It was as if it wanted her to stay to unlock more of its power, but at what cost? Back aboard Sovereign, Calyx delved deeper into the mystery of the artifact. With every touch, she saw more of the ancient civilization, the Taurans, beings of pure energy who had once ruled the galaxy. They had discovered the secret to manipulating time, but their obsession with control had torn the fabric of reality apart, leading to the creation of the Veil. Now, the Virans, who had once served the Taurans, sought to reclaim their master's power. But Calyx realized that the artifact was more than just a tool. It was a prison, holding the last remnants of the Taurans' consciousness. If released, they would stop at nothing to reclaim their empire. Desperate to prevent this, Calyx and her crew devised a plan to destroy the artifact. But every time she attempted to do so, the artifact fought back, tightening its grip on her mind. And then the visions changed. Calyx saw herself standing on a battlefield, the stars above her burning as entire planets were torn apart. She realized that the future was not set, but she could change it, if she embraced the artifact's power. The Virans returned, this time in greater numbers, determined to capture Calyx and the artifact. A massive space battle erupted, with Sovereign narrowly evading destruction at every turn. But it wasn't enough. The Virans boarded the ship, and the crew was forced to engage in brutal hand-to-hand combat. Calyx, now fully connected to the artifact, used her newfound abilities to slow time around her enemies, giving her crew a fighting chance. But the more she used its power, the more it drained her life force. As the final Viran warrior fell, Calyx collapsed, her body racked with pain. The artifact had taken its toll, and she knew that if she continued to use it, she would eventually die. But the visions showed her something else, a way to end the Tauren's influence once and for all. She would have to journey to the heart of the Veil, to the very source of the anomaly that had trapped the Taurens in their own temporal prison. With the crew's loyalty unwavering, Calyx led them deeper into the Veil, navigating through storms of chaotic energy and reality-warping phenomena. The journey tested their resolve, as strange forces began to affect their minds, causing them to see illusions of their greatest fears. As they approached the source of the anomaly, they were greeted by a massive structure, a Dyson sphere that encased an entire star. This was the Tauren's final stronghold, where they had attempted to bend the laws of the universe to their will. Calyx knew that destroying the Dyson sphere would end the Tauren's influence, but it would also collapse the Veil, potentially wiping out entire star systems. It was a choice between saving the galaxy or preserving her own life. Calyx's pulse pounded in her ears as she stood before the alien artifact, its surface now aglow with unfamiliar symbols that flickered in rhythm with her heartbeat. She had studied countless alien relics throughout her career, but nothing had prepared her for this. This wasn't just a relic. It was alive, a force beyond comprehension, and it was calling to her. As her fingertips hovered over its surface, a wave of warmth spread from her chest to the tips of her fingers, as if the artifact were recognizing her. The others stood behind her in awe, but they couldn't feel what she did. They couldn't hear the whispers threading through her mind like forgotten memories, familiar yet unknowable. "Commander Wren," said Lyra, her voice shaking, "we need to be careful. This, whatever this is, could change everything." Calyx nodded but didn't respond. She was transfixed. The symbols seemed to rearrange themselves, forming patterns she could almost understand. She reached out, her hand trembling, and placed it against the smooth surface. The artifact pulsed, and a light so brilliant exploded from it that the entire room was bathed in an ethereal glow. The next moment, everything shifted. The walls of the ship, the crew, the stars beyond the viewport. They all flickered and bent out of shape as if reality itself were bending to the artifact's will. Calyx felt her body becoming weightless, her mind stretching beyond its limits. She wasn't just connected to the artifact anymore. She was the artifact. Calyx found herself no longer aboard the ship. She was somewhere else, somewhere ancient. She stood on the edge of a vast, otherworldly city, its towering spires made of shimmering crystal that reflected a sky filled with unfamiliar stars. It was a world both beautiful and terrifying. But this wasn't a dream. This was real. A figure approached from the shimmering haze, tall and impossibly graceful, with elongated limbs and skin that seemed to be woven from stardust. The alien spoke in a voice that reverberated in her mind. "You are the chosen one, Calyx Wren," the being said, its eyes glowing with the same intensity as the artifact. "We have waited for millennia for someone to awaken the power of the Oracle." Calyx felt herself shaking, both in awe and terror. "What is this place? Who are you?" "I am Elisar, guardian of the Oracle," the being replied. "And you, Commander, are now its keeper. The power of time itself flows through you. But with this gift comes a great burden. You must choose how to wield it, for the balance of the universe depends on your decision." Time? She had unlocked time? The weight of that realization hit her like a meteor strike. She could feel it now, time rippling around her like a tangible force, bending to her will. But the responsibility, she didn't ask for this. "I don't want it," she whispered. "I just want to go back to my ship, to my crew." Elisar shook its head slowly. "There is no going back, not as you were. The Oracle has bound itself to you. Its power will either save your universe or destroy it." Calyx staggered backward, clutching her head as 1,000 possible futures unfolded in her mind. Worlds burning, civilizations crumbling, stars being snuffed out like candles in the wind. And through it all, she stood at the center, her choices determining the fate of everything. She had no idea how long she had been in this vision. Seconds, hours, years? Time had lost meaning. But as her mind began to focus again, she knew she had to regain control. She had to protect her crew, the universe, herself. Calyx's vision snapped back into focus. She was aboard her ship once more, standing exactly where she had been before the artifact had transported her across time and space. But something was different. Everything was different. Her crew looked at her expectantly, unaware of the vast cosmic journey she had just endured. But their faces, their movements were wrong. They were out of sync, moving too slowly, as if time itself were stretching around them. "I'm back," Calyx whispered to herself, though she wasn't entirely sure what that even meant anymore. Was this her present? Her past? Her future? Time was a tangled web, and she was caught in its threads. "Calyx?" Lyra stepped forward cautiously. "Are you all right?" Before she could answer, a sharp voice echoed through the comms. It was Soren, the ship's engineer. "Commander, we've got a problem. You need to see this." Calyx blinked away her confusion and rushed toward the control room, her body still buzzing with the energy of the Oracle. When she arrived, Soren was standing over the central console, his face pale. He pointed at the display, where an enormous, sleek warship loomed just outside the ship's shields. That's not possible," Soren stammered. "That ship shouldn't exist anymore. It's been lost for centuries." Calyx's heart raced. She recognized the ship from her visions. It was one of the Viren Armada, an ancient, powerful race that had vanished long ago. But if it was here now, then the past, present, and future had begun to unravel. "It's here for the artifact," Calyx murmured. "They know. They've always known." Suddenly, the comms crackled again, and a deep, guttural voice filled the room. "Surrender the Oracle or face the wrath of the Viren Empire." Calyx stood frozen for a moment, the weight of the artifact's power heavy in her chest. Her mind swirled with the knowledge she had gained, the vision of her standing at the center of time's unraveling. The Virens had returned because of her. The Viren warship began to power up its weapons, and the crew scrambled into action, manning battle stations and preparing for what seemed like an inevitable fight. But Calyx knew they couldn't win, not with brute force. The Virens had centuries of knowledge, and they wanted the Oracle back at any cost. "We can't win this fight," she said, her voice calm but filled with dread. "Not like this." Lyra, who was manning the tactical station, shot her a confused look. "What do you mean?" "We can at least try. We fought off worse." "No," Calyx said firmly, her gaze fixed on the warship. "This isn't just a battle. This is about the very fabric of time itself." The crew hesitated, their confusion palpable. But Calyx had already made up her mind. She stepped forward, her hand reaching out toward the artifact once more, feeling its pulse respond to her touch. The power surged through her veins, stronger now, as if it had fully accepted her as its conduit. "I can fix this," she whispered, "but I have to go alone." Lyra stood, protesting. "Calyx, no. We're in this together." But it was too late. The artifact glowed brighter, enveloping Calyx in a cocoon of energy. She felt herself slipping through the cracks of time once more. But this time, she wasn't just a passenger. She was in control. Calyx drifted through the endless corridors of time, her mind moving faster than light. She saw the future, the Viren warship decimating her crew, galaxies torn apart by the misuse of the Oracle, civilizations rising and falling in mere moments. She saw the past, the Oracle's creation by a race long forgotten, its journey through the cosmos, waiting for someone like her. But she also saw another path, a future where the Oracle's power was used to heal, to restore the balance of the universe, to save her crew and prevent the Viren threat. But it would require a sacrifice. As she stood at the crossroads of time, Calyx knew what she had to do. She reached out with her mind, grasping the threads of the universe's timeline, and began to weave them together. It was a delicate process, and she could feel her energy draining with every second. But she kept going, knowing that this was the only way. She felt the Viren warship disappear, felt her crew safe aboard their ship once more, and felt the balance of the universe restored. But at a cost. Her body began to fade, the energy of the Oracle consuming her, merging her with the fabric of time itself. She was no longer Commander Calyx Rin. She was something else, something eternal. Lyra stared at the empty spot where Calyx had stood just moments before. The Viren warship was gone, and the ship was back to normal, but Calyx, she was nowhere to be found. Calyx? Lyra whispered, her voice breaking, but there was no answer. As the crew gathered, they felt a strange peace wash over them, as if they knew, deep down, that Calyx had done what needed to be done. She had saved them, saved the universe, but at the cost of her own existence. And though she was gone, her presence lingered, a whisper in the fabric of time, echoing across the stars.